My beloved child, amid the noise that keeps pulling you away from your true self, I want you to recognize that there is a love still patiently reaching for you, tireless, unwavering, never withdrawing, even though you have turned away from it time and again as if it had never been there. I do not force you to take hold of it, but I gently place before you an invitation, tender yet profound, so that you may decide for yourself whether you will open your heart or remain closed as before. For it is written, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him." Revelation 3:20. That door is not found in your circumstances, but within your own heart, and only you have the power to open it. Do not think that I am waiting for you to become perfect before drawing near to you. What I seek in you is not a flawless image, but a heart that can still respond, that can still tremble before the light, that still has the courage to believe it is worthy of being loved. There will be paths before you that are not smooth, and there will be days when you must walk through such dense darkness that it feels as though there is no way out. Yet hold this truth deep within you. You will not walk alone. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23:4. My presence with you is not an empty promise, but a reality more enduring than anything your eyes can see. There will be moments when you feel like giving up, when your efforts seem unanswered, when the silence stretches so long that it feels as though every prayer has dissolved into nothingness. But, my child, even in those seemingly empty moments, your life is still being sustained by the breath I have given you. Every heartbeat within you is a testimony that I have never abandoned you. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. Job 27:3. My love is not loud, yet it is steadfast, like the quiet dew that nourishes life beneath the surface, even when you are unaware of it. Look again at the story of the prodigal son, the one who left his father, spent everything, and lost his honor and himself in a distant land. When he reached the depths of despair, he chose to return, not with confidence, but with humility and repentance. And do you remember what happened? The father did not stand there to accuse or interrogate him, but ran to him, embraced him, and restored him with unconditional love. Luke 15:20. Do you see? Return is not measured by the past, but by the decision to turn back. So it is with me. I do not look at you through the lens of your failures, but through the moment you choose to come home. You are not an accident in this vast world. You are part of a living intention I established long before you became aware of yourself. This world needs the light that only you can carry, not because you must prove your worth, but because you were created with a role that cannot be replaced. You are the light of the world. Let your light shine before others. Matthew 5:14-16. Yet that light can only shine when you allow me to touch the places of darkness you have been trying to hide. Do not let old wounds keep you trapped in cycles of fear and doubt. I did not come to remind you of your pain, but to heal it at its root. I do not enter your life as a judge, but as a healer. If you open your heart, you will discover that what you fear most, change itself, is the very doorway that leads you into freedom. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. There is no fracture within you that I cannot reach, no part of you too distant to be restored. Now you stand before an invisible yet deeply real boundary, a place where your decision will not only affect today, but will shape the direction of your soul in the days to come. I do not press you with urgency, yet I do not conceal the truth that time does not wait. Every passing moment is either an invitation embraced or an opportunity missed. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. You may continue as you have been, or you may choose to step into what is new and I am here, at that very threshold, waiting for you. So, my beloved, pause right here in this moment. Do not allow scattered thoughts to carry you any farther away. Listen not only with your ears, but with your very soul. For my word is not a fleeting suggestion, but an unchanging promise. I love you. I have chosen you, and no mistake from your past can cause me to abandon you. If today you turn back, you will not encounter a gaze of judgment, but arms that have long been open, patient, gentle, and full of hope. You have never been left behind, and no matter how slowly you return, I am still here, waiting for you, my beloved child. There are things drawing near to you that you yourself cannot yet name, but I know them fully, for nothing unfolds beyond my sight. This is not a random occurrence in the chaos of life, nor a passing wind that fades away, but a moment carrying the weight of choice, a sacred juncture where your soul is invited to stand between two paths and decide its direction. I do not speak this to instill fear, but to awaken you to the spiritual gravity of this moment. As it is written, I have set before you life and death, therefore choose life. Deuteronomy 30:19. You are not forced, but you are entrusted, and what you choose today will shape who you become tomorrow. Perhaps you have thought that you are not worthy to hear such words, that the mistakes of your past have placed you beyond the reach of love. But, my child, I do not love you by human standards. I do not measure you by achievements or failures, but by who I am in unchanging love. That is why I still speak, still call, still patiently wait for you to return. I have loved you with an everlasting love, therefore I have drawn you with loving kindness. Jeremiah 31:3. What grieves me is not that you have stumbled, but that you might believe I have turned away from you, when I have been standing there all along, never once leaving your side. Understand this deeply. I know you more intimately than you know yourself. I know the thoughts you have not yet dared to acknowledge, the wounds you have learned to conceal, and even the quiet longings you have been afraid to name. No part of you is unfamiliar to me. Even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Luke 12:7. And because I know you, I do not abandon you. I do not withdraw my calling. I do not change my intention for you. What I desire is not for you to become perfect in an instant, but for you to pause long enough to truly listen. Yet the listening I speak of is not merely with the ears, but with a heart open to receive truth. My word is not empty sound. It is life-carrying power. When you receive it, it can heal the places you thought could never be restored. It can illuminate the corners you once feared to face. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. But light can only enter what is opened. If you remain closed, the light is still there, yet it cannot guide your way. Remember the story of the rich young man who came to me, carrying within himself a longing for eternal life. He had kept the law and lived uprightly in the eyes of others. Yet when I invited him to release what he was holding in order to step into a deeper life, he hesitated and walked away in sorrow. Mark 10:21-22. It was not that I rejected him, but that he was not ready to choose. Do you see? Sometimes what keeps you from stepping into the light is not obvious sin, but hesitation, the fear of losing what is familiar. But, my child, what I have prepared for you is always greater than what you are trying to hold on to. This is no longer the time to delay or to analyze whether you are good enough. Those questions do not come from me, but from fear seeking to keep you in the shadows. Each moment of hesitation slows your steps on the path I am opening before you. Every doubt becomes a veil that dims the light shining into your life. Therefore, let your mind grow still. Let quietness become the place where I can reach you most clearly. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts, Hebrews 3:15. You were not created to drift aimlessly through the years. I have placed within you a purpose, a mark that cannot be erased by circumstances or by your past. The breath within you is not accidental. It is a trust I have given you. I did not breathe life into you merely so you would exist. I did it so you would truly live, and live in fullness. I have come that they may have life, and have it abundantly, John 10:10. But that life begins with a decision both simple and profound. Are you willing to pause and truly listen to me? So even now, I invite you into a different kind of stillness, not emptiness, but a space where your soul is opened. Lay down the noise that has been occupying your mind. Set aside the arguments that have been creating distance within you. And in that quiet place, let me speak. For my word does not merely guide you, it shapes you, heals you, and leads you back into the very purpose for which you were created. I am here. I am still speaking. And you are standing at the threshold of an entirely new life, my beloved child. Amid the countless voices pulling you in different directions, I want you to pause and recognize that not every word you hear carries life. There are sounds that leave you more confused, opinions that draw you further away from who you truly are. But my word is different. It does not merely speak to your ears. It reaches into your soul, awakening what you thought had long been asleep. As it is written, the word of God is living and active, Hebrews 4:12. It has the power to pierce through every defense you have built, to touch the deepest places within you, and to raise you up from the very point where you believed you had fallen. Therefore, in this very moment, allow me to be the voice you choose to listen to, not because I impose, but because I know what can truly lift you out of the darkness you have grown accustomed to. I do not speak merely for you to understand, but for you to live. When you take hold of my word, you will no longer stand on the sinking ground of uncertainty, but will be set upon a firm foundation where you can stand without fear of collapse. He lifted me out of the pit of destruction and set my feet upon a rock, Psalm 42. You were not destined to sink, you were called to stand. Let me take your hand. Do not resist any longer. I know there are false places of safety where you have learned to hide places where you are no longer hurt, yet cannot truly grow. I am calling you out of those places. Not so, you must face the world alone, but so you may realize that I am always with you. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God, Isaiah 41:10. You are not abandoned as you once believed. I know your name. I know your journey, and I call you not by your past, but by the future I have prepared for you. Remember Samuel, who as a child heard a voice in the night and did not understand who was calling him. He ran to Eli again and again until he was told that it was my voice calling. And then Samuel answered, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. 1 Samuel 3:10. Do you see? Transformation does not begin with full understanding, but with a willing response. You do not need to know the entire journey ahead. You only need to say, Here I am, and I will guide you step by step. Do not let this moment pass like a gentle breeze you fail to grasp. There are moments in life that carry the weight of change, and this is one of them. When your heart is still stirred, when you can still recognize this calling. It is not ordinary, it is an opportunity. Seek the Lord while he may be found, Isaiah 55:6. Time does not stand still, and delay can cause you to miss what I am opening before you right now. Perhaps deep within you, questions are rising that you have never dared to voice. Why things happened as they did. Why you had to walk through pain you could not understand. You seek an explanation, a recognition that you have endured so much, I hear those questions, and I do not ignore them. But, my child, the greatest answer is not found in explaining everything, but in realizing that I have been with you through it all. I will never leave you nor forsake you, Hebrews 13:5. Even when you did not see me, I was still present. What you have gone through is not evidence that you were forgotten, but proof that you were preserved through what could have destroyed you. And now, I do not call you back to remind you of your pain, but to lead you into new life. I did not come to judge your past, but to open your future. Behold, I am making all things new, Revelation 21:5. Yet that renewal begins with a simple decision. Will you choose to listen? So, my beloved, let your heart respond. There is no need for eloquent words. No need for perfection. Only a sincere whisper is enough. Lord, here I am. And when you speak those words, you will no longer stand alone at the crossroads. I will be there, taking your hand, guiding you step by step, not in haste, not by force, but with certainty. Choose to listen. Choose to move forward. Choose the light. For my love for you does not change, does not diminish, and will remain there forever, waiting for you to return. My beloved child, I have heard everything you have never spoken aloud, the silent cries you have hidden deep within, and the long nights when you have wondered why everything unfolded in ways that wounded you so deeply. I have not stood apart from those moments. I am not one who watches from a distance. I was there. In every moment you thought you were breaking, lifting you when you had no strength left, holding you together when you felt you would fall apart. As it is written, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. My presence does not disappear in your pain. It is in your pain that I draw even closer to you. You have asked why loss, wounds, and disappointments were allowed to happen. But, my child, there are depths that only adversity can reveal, strengths that can only be formed through trial. I did not bring pain into your life to destroy you, but to transform you. Gold is tested by fire, and faith is refined through trials. See 1 Peter 1:7. What you call brokenness, I see as a process of renewal. What you believe is an ending, I know is only the beginning of a new form, stronger, truer, and deeper than before. Remember Joseph, the one who was sold by his own brothers, misunderstood, and forgotten in prison, living through years that seemed devoid of hope. Yet none of those events were punishment, they were preparation. And when the appointed time came, Joseph rose into a position no one could have imagined, and he was able to say, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Genesis 50:20. Do you see? What you are walking through today may not yet make sense, but in my hands, all things are being turned toward good. You do not need to understand the entire journey in order to keep walking. I do not require you to explain everything that has happened. What I ask of you is trust that even when you cannot see the full picture, I am still weaving a complete design from the fragments you carry. All things work together for good to those who love God. Romans 8:28. No detail is meaningless. No pain is wasted. Everything is being used to build something greater than you can perceive at this moment. I have never led you this far, only to release your hand in the middle of the journey. If I have been with you through your hardest days, then I will not abandon you at this moment. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. Because I love you, I will not allow you to live a shallow life, nor to remain at the level of mere existence. I desire that you grow, that you be transformed, that you be renewed from within, so that you may step into a life of true depth and meaning. There are things I have removed from your life that you once believed you could not live without. There are silences I have allowed so that you might realize that my presence is enough. There are seasons of loneliness I have not immediately taken away, so that you may learn to recognize that I have never been far from you. And through all these things, I am not weakening you. I am making you more real, more steadfast, and more free. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. Every fracture within you is not an ending, but a place where my light enters. Look back on your journey, not with regret, but with awareness. How many times did you think you could not go on? Yet here you stand. How many times did you believe you would fall forever? Yet you are still breathing, still longing, still seeking. This is not coincidence. It is evidence that I have sustained you. I have carried you through, and now I am bringing you to a turning point, not to end your story, but to open it. You do not have to be strong on your own anymore. I did not create you to struggle through everything by yourself. Let me be your strength, your refuge. My grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. It is in the places where you feel weakest that my power can be revealed most clearly. It is in the places you wish to hide that I desire to touch and bring healing. And believe this, my beloved, not a single tear of yours has been forgotten. Not a single year you have lived has been without meaning. I will use all of it to build, to restore, to bring life again. What you once wished to forget will become a testimony of transformation. What once wounded you will become the foundation for healing, not only for you, but for others as well. For you were not created for an ordinary life. You were formed with a purpose, a light, a story that only you can fully live out. And I love you, not because of what you have done, but because of who you are. A creation I formed with unchanging love. Rise up, not by your own strength, but in my sustaining power. For this journey is not over. It has only just begun, my beloved child. Even in this very moment, as you stand between understanding and uncertainty, I still invite you to step deeper, not a step of reason, but a step of faith. Not everything you experience can be explained at once, but everything rests within my perfect and unfailing design. Hold on to this as an unshakable truth. Not a single tear of yours is meaningless. Not a single wound is forgotten. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Revelation 21:4. And that promise is already at work in your life, even if you have not yet seen its fulfillment. I have brought you to this place not by chance. This is a crossroads, a point where you can begin again, not by your own strength, but through a faith that is being made new. What I seek from you is not perfection, but a heart that is truly open. A single yes from you can release a flow I have already prepared in advance. Just as Mary received the message and responded, "Behold, I am the servant of the Lord. Let it be to me according to your word." Luke 1:38. It was her surrender that opened the way for the miraculous to take form. So it is with you. What is great does not begin with strength, but with willingness. Yet, my child, I will not hide from you the truth that the path you are entering is not without resistance. There is a battle unfolding, not one your physical eyes can see, but one that takes place within the depths of your mind and soul. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against powers in the heavenly realms. Ephesians 6:12. What you are feeling, doubt, fear, the sense of hopelessness does not always originate from within you. There are unseen forces seeking to hold you back, to make you forget who you are, and to draw you away from the light. But hear me clearly, you do not need to be afraid. I do not call you into this battle alone. I do not stand at a distance watching you struggle. I, myself, am your refuge. your stronghold. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalm 46:1. When the winds rise fiercely, you do not need to fight in your own strength. You need to learn how to take shelter in me. Remember David when he stood before Goliath, a foe that, by every human measure, seemed impossible to defeat. Yet David did not step forward with confidence in himself, but with certainty that I was with him. He declared, I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, 1 Samuel 17:45. And it was that faith that secured the victory. So it is with you. What makes you stand firm is not the strength you possess, but the one in whom you trust. But I need you to understand this deeply. I cannot lead you into safety if you insist on following your own direction. I cannot fully protect you if your heart remains closed and you resist my guidance. Trust is not merely spoken, it is chosen. It is the decision to walk in the light, even when you cannot yet see the entire path. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3-5. This is the turning point, not tomorrow, but now. The adversary does not come to you in an obvious form that is easy to recognize. It slips in through small thoughts, through whispers that cause you to doubt yourself, through weariness that makes you want to give up. It does not need to destroy you all at once. It only needs to pull you away from the truth, little by little. But, my child, my light is enough to expose every darkness. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. Therefore, what I invite you to do is not to fight in panic, but to stand firm in the truth. Return to me, listen to me, and allow my word to become the foundation for every thought within you. When you abide in me, you are no longer an easy target. You become one who stands in the light, and darkness no longer holds authority over you. My beloved, this is a moment of awakening, not so that you may fear, but so that you may recognize that you are being called into a life that is deeper, stronger, and more real. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are one whom I have chosen, whom I preserve, and whom I lead. So say, yes. Open your heart. Step out of delay. And when you do, you will not be stepping into a battle. You will be stepping into partnership with me, where victory has already been established. For I am with you, and where I am, nothing can overcome you. My beloved child, what is drawing near to you is not meant to drown you in fear, but to reveal clearly where you stand and to whom you belong. There is a collision forming in the unseen realm, where your faith will be tested, not to make you fall, but to establish you more firmly. For it is written, the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly. John 10:10. You must discern clearly. One side seeks to take away, the other gives. One sows fear, the other imparts life. And your choice will determine which current you stand within. Do not be mistaken. The adversary does not appear in an obvious form that is easy to recognize. It does not come as a loud storm at first, but slips in like a whisper, planting small thoughts within you. You are not enough. Nothing will ever change. Just give up. These seemingly harmless seeds, if left unguarded, will take root and weaken you from within. Therefore, what I teach you is not panic, but vigilance. Guard your heart above all else, for from it flow the springs of life. Proverbs 4:23. You cannot allow your mind to drift with every passing thought. You must discern what comes from me and what does not. My child, the enemy may know the places where you have once been vulnerable, wounds not yet healed, memories that still ache, moments when you doubted yourself. It will try to touch those places, not to heal, but to convince you that you will always remain the same. But hear me, I know you beyond all of that. I do not only see your wounds, I see your potential. I do not only see what you have been through, I see what you are meant to become. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, Jeremiah 1:5. What I have placed within you cannot be erased by anything you have faced. Remember the story of Job, who was attacked not because of weakness, but because his faith carried great worth. Everything he had was taken. His body was afflicted. His mind was tested to its limits. Yet what the adversary could not take from him was his connection with me. And when he stood firm, not in perfection, but in persevering trust, I restored him in abundance. Job 42:10. Do you see? The battle is not meant to define who you are, but to reveal what you truly belong to. Do not be deceived by appearances that imitate the light. Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. 2 Corinthians 11:14. Not everything that looks like light is light. Not everything that sounds right comes from me. Therefore, you must anchor yourself in the truth, not in shifting emotions, but in my word, which does not change. I alone hold ultimate authority. I do not merely speak of victory, I have already overcome. Take heart, I have overcome the world. John 16:33. When you stand in me, you are not fighting to achieve victory. You are standing in a victory that has already been secured. But, my beloved, I must make this clear so that you do not take it lightly. The small things you consider insignificant are often the very doors. A slight compromise in thought, a small delay in obedience, an unaddressed doubt, these become openings through which darkness seeks to enter. I do not say this to instill fear, but to awaken your understanding of the value of vigilance. Like a watchman standing guard in the night, you do not fall asleep when you know what you are protecting is precious. Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. Matthew 26:41. Therefore, I do not call you to shrink back in anxiety, but to rise in awareness. You are not a victim in this battle. You are one who has been equipped, chosen, and led. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can stand firm. Ephesians 6:11. Your protection does not come from your own strength, but from abiding in me, in truth, in obedience, in unbroken connection. And fix this deeply within your heart. The enemy may roar, but it does not hold ultimate authority. I am the Lion of the tribe of Judah, Revelation 5:5. My voice does not merely shake the darkness, it dispels it. I do not fight to achieve victory. I speak from the position of one who has already overcome. And when you are in me, you no longer stand in your own weakness, but in my power. So, my beloved, guard your heart, guard your thoughts. Remain watchful, not in fear, but in understanding. You carry something of great value. You are walking in a purpose that cannot be replaced. And I am with you not only to help you endure, but to lead you into the abundant life I have already prepared for you. My beloved child, I have not sent you into these days unprepared. Even before you became aware, I placed into your hands weapons that are not of the flesh, not limited by circumstances, but empowered by eternity. Your faith is not a fragile emotion. It is a shield capable of extinguishing every fiery arrow of doubt. My truth is not merely spoken, it is a firm foundation on which you can stand when everything around you is shaken. Put on the full armor of God, so that you may be able to stand firm. Ephesians 6:11. You are not called to avoid the battle, but to stand. Stand in me. Stand in what I have spoken. But, my child, even the armor given to you is of no use if you do not take it up. There are times you allow my word to remain in your memory, instead of placing it upon your lips as a living declaration. When lies surround you, you must speak the truth. When your heart grows weary, You must pray not because you feel strong, but because you know I am your strength. When you cannot see the way, that is when you must trust more deeply, not less. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. You do not need to see in order to know that I am at work. Remember Joshua as he stood before Jericho, a wall that seemed impossible to overcome. I did not instruct him to attack in the way human reasoning would suggest, but to obey in what appeared unreasonable. And it was that obedience that caused the walls to fall. Joshua 6. Do you see? Victory does not come from the method you choose, but from the trust you place in me. When you follow my voice, even the impossible must give way. You are not alone in this battle. Even when it feels as though you stand in darkness by yourself, there are hosts your eyes cannot see surrounding you. Just as Elisha prayed for his servant, and his eyes were opened to see that the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire. 2 Kings 6:17. So it is with you. There is more than you can perceive. But what matters is not what you see, but what you believe. And above all, I am the one who fights for you. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Therefore, my beloved, do not live as one who merely tries to get through each day. You are called to live with purpose, in power, in the light I placed within you from the very beginning. You are not one who has been pushed into circumstances. You are one who has been sent into this moment. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1-9. You were not born to retreat, but to rise, not to remain silent, but to proclaim life, even in the darkest places. And fix this deeply within your soul. No force can separate you from me if you choose to remain in me. No one can snatch them out of my hand. John 10:28. You have been sealed by my love, called as one who belongs to me, and no power can undo that. The enemy may deceive, may threaten, but it does not hold ultimate authority over you. That authority belongs to me, and I have entrusted it to you so that you may stand in victory. So stand firm, not in your own strength, but in the power that flows through you from me. Obey when I lead. Trust when you do not understand, and act when I speak. Victory is not something you must create. It is something you step into when you abide in me. My beloved child, I feel every wave of unrest rising within you, the nameless fears, the unanswered questions, the long nights when your mind cannot find rest. You may think that no one understands what you carry, that you must face everything alone. But, my child, even in the very moments when you feel most abandoned, I am listening to you, not only when you pray with words, but even when you have no words left to speak. When your heart is filled only with heavy sighs, He still hears you. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted, Psalm 34:18. And that nearness has never left you, not even for a moment. Every tear you have shed is not a sign of weakness, but a testimony that your heart is still alive, still able to feel, still longing to be healed. I do not let them pass unnoticed. You have kept count of my tossings, put my tears in your bottle, Psalm 56:8. Like a father who treasures even the smallest things belonging to his child. You are not a lost fragment in this vast world. You belong to me. I have engraved your name on the palms of my hands, Isaiah 49:16, which means you are always before my eyes, always remembered, always held within an unchanging love. Even if the world turns away from you, even if doors before you seem to close, in me there is always a place reserved for you, untaken, unshaken, secure. But, my beloved, because I see your weariness, I am calling you back, not because I need something from you, but because you need to find your true refuge again. Come to me. all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. You have been carrying too much on your own unfulfilled expectations, unspoken pain, burdens you believed you had to resolve by yourself. Let it go, my child, not to give up, but to surrender. Place into my hands the things you no longer have the strength to carry, the memories that still ache, the unfinished dreams, the failures you have borne like an unseen weight. None of these are unfamiliar to me. I have seen them. I have understood them. And I have waited patiently until you are ready to open your heart. Cast all your cares upon him, for he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. You do not need to hide anything from me, for I already know and still love you completely. Remember Hannah, who came before me in deep anguish, not with perfect words, but with a broken heart so overwhelmed that only silent cries remained. And I heard her not because her words were eloquent, but because her heart was fully given. 1 Samuel 1:13-20. So it is with you. I am not searching for polished expressions, but for sincerity. When you dare to open your heart, even in weakness, that is, when I can begin the work of healing within you. My beloved, you were not created to struggle alone in the darkness. You were made to live in the light, in peace, in a living relationship with me. But that begins with a decision both simple and profound. Are you willing to return, not to a perfect version of yourself, but to your true self, tired, wounded, yet still longing to be loved? My beloved child, I see the deepest place within you, the place where you are still trying to appear strong, still telling yourself that you must stand on your own, must carry everything so as not to become a burden to anyone. But, my child, you have never been a burden to me. You are my joy, my treasure, the one I patiently wait for, not out of obligation, but out of love. The Lord takes delight in his people. Psalm 149:4. That delight does not come from your perfection, but from the fact that you belong to me. So do not hesitate any longer. Come to me as you are, without editing, without hiding. Even if your heart is tangled, your faith feels fractured, and you carry questions without answers, I still receive you. I do not wait for you to become whole before calling you near. I call you in the midst of your incompleteness. As it is written, the sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. O God, you will not despise. Psalm 51:17. What I seek is not outward strength, but truth within your heart. Take hold of my hand. My child, this is not a distant hand, but the hand that formed the universe and yet reaches down to touch the smallest tear you shed. When you tremble, I steady you. When you are weak, I lift you. Do not let the voices around you, the judgments, the memories that bring shame, or the weight of guilt create distance between you and me. For I do not stand above you to condemn, but step into the very storm you are in to walk with you. I am with you in trouble. Psalm 91:15. The journey ahead will not always be easy, and I do not hide that from you. There will be days when the sky seems closed, moments when you cannot understand why things unfold as they do. Yet even then, I am there, unwavering. Even when you do not see me, I am still there. This is a truth you must hold firmly. Just as the two disciples on the road to Emmaus walked in disappointment, not recognizing that I was with them, yet I remained by their side the entire way. Luke 24:15-16. So it is with you. My presence does not depend on your perception. You do not need to understand everything in order to keep moving forward. Let me lead you. I am the way, the truth, and the life. John 14:6. When you are in me, you do not need to search elsewhere to know where you are going. When you trust me, you do not need to guess what is right. And when you live in the life I give, you do not need to cling to temporary things to feel that you have value. I am the source your soul has been seeking all along. Let me rewrite your story, not with pages filled with regret, but with grace and restoration. I do not erase your past, but I transform its meaning. Remember, the sinful woman who wept at my feet, what once brought her shame, became a testimony of forgiven love. Luke 7:37-38. What once caused you to fall, I can turn into the place where you stand. What the enemy used to wound you, I will use to build something new within you. Nothing you have gone through is wasted in my hands. Not a single year has passed without meaning. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. Joel 2:25. What you thought was lost, I can restore. What you believed was broken, I can rebuild. And what you saw as an ending, I can turn into a beginning. My beloved child, do not let your heart hesitate any longer, for I do not wait for you with harshness, but with a love that is always ready to run toward you the moment you take even the smallest step in my direction. You do not need to gather all your strength or perfect yourself before coming to me. Simply return, even if your steps are unsteady. Even if your faith is no more than a faint light, I will receive you. As it is written, draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. James 4:8. When you take one step, I am already there. Arms open, waiting. At times when you lift your eyes to search, I am already present. When you fall under the weight of weariness, I am still there to uphold you. Even when you turn away, thinking you have gone too far, I have never left my place, the place of waiting for your return. And when you come back, you will not encounter reproach, but the joy of a love that has never changed. Remember the prodigal son while he was still far off. His father saw him and ran to embrace him. Luke 15:20. So it is with me. I do not stand still while you return in shame. I run to restore you in love. You belong to me, and that truth is not altered by circumstances, by what you have done, or by what you fear. Nothing can separate us from the love of God. Romans 8:39. No mistake is great enough to erase your identity in me. No past is strong enough to take you from my hand, for I have chosen you, and my choosing does not change. My child, it is often in the moments when you feel weakest that you are closest to me, when every other support falls away, when the things you once relied on are no longer there. That is, when you begin to realize that I have never been shaken. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalm 46:1. When there is nothing left to hold on to, you will discover that I am the unmovable rock. And a day will come when you look back on the path you have walked, and you will not only see wounds and tears, you will recognize my footsteps beside yours. Like the people of Israel in the wilderness, when they thirsted in a dry place, I brought forth water from the rock. Exodus 17:6. So it is with you in the places you thought were empty. I was quietly providing. In the days you believed were barren, I remained the stream that never ceased to flow. Therefore, remain in me, and let me remain in you. Whoever abides in me, and I in him, bears much fruit. John 15:5. Your life does not come from striving to hold everything together, but from being connected to me, the source that never runs dry. I desire to be the breath you take each day, the light you see every morning, and the peace you carry each night. My beloved child, I know the thoughts that quietly pass through your mind, the whispers that seem reasonable, yet weigh your heart down and dim the light within you. You are not imagining this. for there truly is a conflict unfolding in depths your eyes cannot see. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. 1 Peter 5:8. But, my child, the truth does not end there, for I do not leave you to face this without protection, without guidance. The adversary does not need to appear in an obvious form, for its ways are far more subtle. It enters through thoughts, through emotions, through echoes of the past, persuading you that you are not enough, that you have missed your moment, that you are no longer worthy of love. But you must understand this: that is not my voice, for my voice never drives you into despair. There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. I do not revisit your past to condemn you. I bring it to light to heal you and restore you. My child, the words that tell you that you are not good enough, that you cannot change, that you have gone too far, these are lies, repeated so often that they begin to sound like truth. But my truth does not shift with your emotions. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. The truth is that you were loved before you ever accomplished anything. The truth is that you are still chosen, even when you believe you have failed. The truth is that you have never been beyond my reach. Remember Elijah, a mighty prophet. Yet there came a moment when he was overwhelmed by fear and despair, to the point of wanting to give up everything. He believed he was alone, that all was lost. But I came to him, not in a great noise, but in a gentle whisper, reminding him that he was not alone. 1 Kings 19:12-18. So it is with you. There will be times when you feel abandoned, but that feeling is not the truth. I am still there, still holding you. The adversary wants you to believe that you are alone, because when you accept that lie, you begin to separate yourself from the source of life. But I say to you, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. Whether you feel it or not, my presence does not change. It does not depend on your emotions, but on my nature, the one who never departs. Therefore, my beloved, do not allow every thought to enter your mind unexamined. Not everything you think is truth. Not every voice within you comes from me. Take every thought captive to obey Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:5. You have the authority to reject what does not bring life. You have the right to rise and say, that is not what my Lord has spoken. You do not need to fight by trying to become stronger than those thoughts. You need to replace them with truth. When the lie says you are unloved, remember, I have called you my beloved. When the lie says you have failed, remember, I am making all things new within you. When the lie says you are alone, remember, I am right here, my beloved child. Let these words be engraved deeply within your soul. For I do not speak as a passing echo, but as an unchanging truth. You are my beloved, not because you have earned it, but because I chose to love you from the beginning. I have loved you with an everlasting love. Jeremiah 31:3. You have been redeemed at a price beyond anything in this world. And that truth is not meant to bind you in shame, but to release you into freedom. Freedom from condemnation, from fear, from the invisible chains you have been carrying. Do not confuse your identity. You are not defined by what you have done, nor by the failures you have experienced. You are defined by the work I have completed for you, and what I have begun in you, I will not abandon halfway. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1-6. No opposition is strong enough to stop what I have purposed. No force has the authority to erase what I have written upon your life. You are not alone, no matter how loud the voices in your mind may seem. I know there are times when negative thoughts rise like waves, making you believe they are truth. But, my child, feelings are not always reality. The heart is deceitful above all things, Jeremiah 17:9. And that is why you cannot rely on shifting emotions to define who you are. I do not lead you by feelings, I lead you by truth. And the truth is this: you are loved. You are chosen. You are called by my name. When the voices of failure, of sin, of the past try to pull you down, do not argue with them in your own strength. Return to my word. Let it rise louder than every other voice. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. Light does not struggle against darkness, it simply shines. And darkness must retreat. When you place yourself in my word, falsehood loses its power. Remember Gideon when I called him a mighty warrior while he was hiding in fear, Judges 6:12. Do you see? I do not call you according to your current condition, but according to what I know you are becoming. When I call you strong, it is not because you have never been weak, but because I see clearly what I am forming within you. Your identity does not come from your circumstances, but from my word spoken over you. You have not been forgotten, even when everything around you makes you feel left behind. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands, Isaiah 49:16. You are not condemned, even when your conscience replays your past mistakes. There is, therefore, now no condemnation, Romans 8:1. You are not abandoned, even when no one seems to stand beside you. I will never leave you nor forsake you, Hebrews 13:5. This is not temporary comfort, it is an unchanging reality. And, my child, do not be afraid of your own weakness. It is precisely there that my power is made most visible. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. You do not need to hide it, nor feel ashamed of it. When you bring your weakness to me, I do not turn you away, I remain, and I transform it. So let my voice rise above every other voice. Let my truth shape your thoughts. Let my love heal the places you believed could never be restored. You are no longer bound by your past. You are one who is free, loved, and led. Therefore, whenever old memories resurface to accuse you, do not bow your head in agreement. Stand in the truth and declare what I have spoken over you. When you are pulled back toward the past, remember that your future is not held by your past, it is held in my hands. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. 2 Corinthians 5:17. When a voice tells you that you have failed, remember that I have called you victorious. In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Romans 8:37. When fear rises like a great wave, stand firm. For I have given you a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. My child, the battle in your mind is real, but you are not fighting to win. You are standing in a victory already secured. I have foreseen every scheme, every attack, and I have equipped you not only to withstand, but to advance. Put on the full armor of God, that you may be able to stand firm. Ephesians 6:13. You are not one who cowers in defense, but one who is called to move forward, with the certainty that I go before you. Remember Jesus in the wilderness, each time a lie was presented. He did not argue through emotion, but responded with the word. It is written, Matthew 4:4. So it is with you. You do not need to become stronger than those voices. You need only stand in the truth. When truth is spoken, falsehood loses its ground. Do not let the shadows of the past pull you back to where you have already been set free. Do not let fear cause you to stop when I am opening a new dawn before you. For my light is not weak. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. No darkness is dense enough to keep my light from reaching you. No depth is deep enough to separate you from my love. And, my beloved, hold this firmly as an unshakable foundation. You are not an accident. I created you with intention, with care, with a purpose woven long before you were aware. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139-14. Nothing in you is random. Every breath you take, every day you live, has been known to me beforehand. All the days ordained for you were written before one of them came to be. Psalm 139-16. You are not a mistake. You are not the result of something undefined. You are intention. You are a word spoken into form. And because I have begun this work in you, I will not abandon it. I am not only the creator, I am also the one who brings it to completion. So, my child, between two voices, the voice of lies and the voice of truth, choose to listen to me. Not once, but every day. Not only when you feel strong, but especially when you feel weak. And as you do, you will begin to see something unfold slowly. Yet surely, your mind will be renewed, your heart will be healed, and your soul will be lifted above the things that once pulled you down. But so that you may understand my heart more clearly, listen to a story that is often overlooked, a story about someone who was not prominent, not powerful, yet touched my heart deeply. Ebed-Melech, a foreigner, not part of the covenant people, not someone of great status in the eyes of men. In a dark moment, when the prophet Jeremiah was cast into a muddy pit, left in silence and fear while those around him said nothing. No one dared to stand up. They chose safety. They chose silence. But this man who seemed to have no voice could not turn away. He came forward, not with the noise of authority, but with quiet courage. He sought permission from the king, and then carefully rescued Jeremiah not merely with strength, but with gentleness. He brought soft cloths, placing them under the prophet's arms so as not to wound his already weakened body. Do you see? This was not just an action, it was a heart, and I saw it all. Not a single detail escaped my sight. And I spoke to him, I will deliver you, because you have trusted in me. Jeremiah 39-17-18. Understand this clearly. I do not choose based on position, nor do I measure by reputation. I look at the heart. I see the courage when you choose what is right, even if you must stand alone. I see the gentleness when you lift others up, even when you yourself are weary. I see what the world does not see. My beloved, perhaps you feel like Ebed-Melech, unnoticed, overlooked, without a strong voice among many. But I tell you, nothing you do with a sincere heart is ever meaningless. God is not unjust to forget your work and the love you have shown. Hebrews 6:10. Every small act, every quiet decision, every time you stand for the light, I take notice. You may not see the results immediately. You may think what you do goes unseen, unremembered. But, my child, I do not forget. I do not overlook. And at the appointed time, I will reveal what I have prepared for you, not so that you may be exalted in the way the world understands, but so that my light may be reflected through your life. Look again at that story. A man without status, in a time of fear, chose to act in righteousness, and I responded with protection, with promise, with my presence. So it will be with you. You do not need to become someone else to gain my attention. You need only remain faithful to what I have placed within your heart. For you are not a forgotten name in the flow of time. You are one I know intimately. You are one I call by name. You are part of a design I am weaving day by day, step by step. And though you do not yet see it fully, I want you to trust this. The path before you is not an undefined darkness, but a journey prepared with clear purpose. So, my beloved, continue to walk, not with certainty based on what your eyes can see, but with trust in the one who has gone before you. Live with integrity, as Ebed-Melech did. Choose what is right, even when it is not recognized. Hold on to gentleness, even when the world grows hard. I do not work only through those who are prominent, nor do I choose only those whom the world calls strong or talented. I look deeper into the hidden place where your true self dwells. I see your faithfulness when you continue on without recognition. I see your courage when you stand for what is right, even if you must stand alone. I see your love when you give without expecting anything in return. And I remember, man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. My child, just as I saw Ebed-Melech in a moment when everyone else chose silence, I also see you in the unseen places where no one else is looking. You may think you are small, that you do not carry enough influence to make a difference. You may feel as though your life is ordinary, nothing remarkable. But I tell you this, no life I create is without purpose. No position is too small in my plan. Whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. Luke 16:10. What you are doing today, though it may seem small in your eyes, I am using to prepare you for greater things. Do not let any voice convince you that your presence is unnecessary. That is not the truth. You are not a mistake in this design. You are placed exactly where you are, at the right time, with a specific purpose. For we are His workmanship, created for good works, which God prepared beforehand. Ephesians 2:10. What you carry within you, both your wounds and your dreams, is not a hindrance, but material I will use to form something new. Remember the widow who gave 2 small coins, something others might have considered insignificant. Yet I saw her heart, and I said that she had given more than all. Luke 21:2-3. Do you see? Value in my eyes is not measured by scale, but by the heart. You do not need to accomplish great things by the world's standards to be seen by me. You only need to remain faithful to what I have placed in your hands today. The reward I have prepared for you does not always come through human recognition. Often it comes as a deep inner peace, as growth within, as doors I open at the right time. And above all, that reward comes from me, the one who knows you fully and loves you completely. Your Father, who sees in secret, will reward you. Matthew 6-4. So, my beloved, live as one who knows they are chosen, not with pride, but with steadiness, not by trying to become someone else, but by becoming who I created you to be. You do not need to compare yourself or chase the standards of others. I have woven you uniquely, with a purpose that cannot be replaced. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139-14. Walk in that truth. Listen to my voice above all others, and trust that I, the one who placed you in this world, do nothing by accident. I do not let you wander aimlessly. I lead you step by step, and what I have begun in you, no force can stop. I am still working within you, and I will complete what I have purposed. My beloved child, before you can fully comprehend all that is shifting around you, I want you to recognize a deeper truth. You were not called to remain within what is familiar, but to step into places where faith must lead the way. When the winds change and the waters begin to stir, your heart may shrink back, reaching for what feels safe. Yet it is precisely in that moment that I stand upon the moving waters and call your name. As it is written, come, Matthew 14:29. That call is not a test designed for your failure, but a doorway through which you may experience a power that surpasses human limitation. Do not think that you must understand everything before you move forward. It is when you step onto what you cannot control that you begin to realize that I am the one sustaining you. And child, what causes you to hesitate is not only the circumstance around you, but also the way you perceive yourself. You have allowed old memories, past mistakes, and the voices of others to shape your sense of worth. But I speak a different word, a word untouched by time or failure. You belong to me, not because you meet the standards of this world, but because I chose you before you even knew who you were. As it is written, I have called you by name, you are mine. Isaiah 43:1. Let this truth become the foundation of every step you take. For when you stand upon my affirmation, every other voice loses its authority over you. You must understand that I did not create you by accident. Every detail within you, from the abilities you have yet to discover to the depths you have yet to reach, has been formed with deliberate purpose. As it is written, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139:14. And this speaks not only of your physical being, but of the destiny I have placed within you. There is a divine seed inside you, and that seed cannot be destroyed by circumstance. It can only be awakened through your connection with me. Therefore, do not limit yourself by what you see before you. You carry within you something far beyond what you have ever imagined. But I have not called you merely to recognize your own worth. I have called you to become a source of life for others. In a world filled with weary souls, I have placed you as a light that cannot be hidden. As it is written, you are the light of the world, Matthew 5:14. Yet that light does not come from your perfection, but from my presence within you. You do not need to conceal your fractures. It is often through the places once broken that my light shines most powerfully. I am not seeking perfection, as you define it. I am seeking a heart that is willing for me to move within. Remember a story you may not have deeply considered. When Gideon was hiding in fear, threshing wheat in secret to avoid the enemy, I called him a mighty warrior, Judges 6:12. He did not see that within himself he saw weakness, insignificance, and inadequacy. But I do not call according to what is visible. I call according to what I have placed within. And as he obeyed, even while trembling, I used him to deliver an entire nation. So it is with you. Do not wait until you feel strong enough before you step forward. It is in obedience within your weakness that my strength is revealed in its fullness. My beloved, I also want you to understand that what you possess, no matter how small it may seem in your eyes, is not without meaning. A simple act, a gentle word, a heart willing to give in, my hands, all of it can become a source of blessing for many. As it is written of the 5 loaves and 2 fish that were offered, I caused them to overflow for the multitude. John 6:9-11. The miracle was not determined by quantity, but by willingness. When you place what you have into my hands, I will accomplish what you cannot. Therefore, child, do not return to the old boat whenever fear arises. Do not allow the voice of the wind to become louder than my call. Keep your eyes fixed on me, not only when everything is calm, but especially when everything is shaking. For it is often in the places that seem most unstable that I am opening the way for supernatural steps in your life. And as you walk in that trust, you will come to realize that you are not only being sustained, you are being transformed, becoming a vessel of life, a witness of grace, and a light that no darkness can extinguish. My beloved child, before you look at what you have overcome or what still lies ahead, I want you to pause for a moment and recognize an unshakable truth. Your victory does not begin with you, nor does it end with you. It originates in me, the one who passed through death and rose in glorious life, and it is that very life that is at work within you each day. Therefore, when you stand firm against temptations that seek to draw you into darkness, when you refuse to let go of faith, even as everything around you seems to collapse. It is not your effort alone, it is the evidence that I am living and acting within you. As it is written, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Romans 8:37. And this word is not a distant promise, but a present reality you are stepping into daily. And child, let your heart be anchored in this: no power, no circumstance, no dimension of time or space can sever the bond between you and my love. When you feel alone, that is only your perception, not a spiritual truth. When you feel weak, that is merely the limitation of the flesh, not my limitation. As it is written, nothing can separate us from the love of God. Romans 8:39. And that truth covers you like a garment that never tears, guarding you through every season. Therefore, do not allow fear to whisper that you have been abandoned. I have never left you, and I never will. You do not walk this journey alone. Even when it feels that way, every step you take is upheld by my faithfulness, a faithfulness that does not depend on emotion or circumstance. When you are weary to the point that you have no strength left to continue, I do not stand at a distance observing. I bend down and carry you. When you are lost in the confusion of choices, I do not leave you to find your own way. I illuminate the path with my presence. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. And that light does not merely shine ahead of you, it remains with you, guiding you step by step, moment by moment. But my beloved, I do not call you to live a half-hearted life, believing only when circumstances are favorable. I am inviting you into a deeper dimension where your faith no longer depends on what you see, but is built upon what I have spoken. It is in the days without answers, in the long nights that seem without light, that your faith is refined and made steadfast. As it is written, the righteous shall live by faith. Romans 1:17. And that life is not mere existence, but a flow of power from me, moving through you even in the wilderness. Remember the account of Paul the Apostle and Silas when they were imprisoned in the darkest cell, their feet bound in chains, their bodies beaten, and every human hope seemingly extinguished. Yet, in the depth of the night, they did not choose to complain, they chose to praise. And as they lifted their voices, the ground shook, chains fell away, and the prison doors were flung open. Acts 16:25-26. Do you see? Victory did not arrive after the circumstances changed. Victory began the moment their hearts chose to trust me within unchanged circumstances. And in the place that appeared most confined, I revealed my power to set them free. Therefore, child, I am calling you out of a faith that lives only on your lips, into a life led by the Spirit, a life where you are no longer governed by fear, but moved by trust. You were not created to hide in the shadows of false security. You are called to shine, to become a living sign of my grace in a world longing for hope. As it is written, let your light shine before others, Matthew 5:16. And that light is not meant to exalt you, but to reveal me through you. Do not think that you are merely waiting for a miracle to happen to you. I am shaping you into the very miracle that others will behold. Through what you have endured, through the wounds that have been healed, and through the faithfulness you have held onto in difficult days, I am forming within you a life that can touch other souls. You were not saved simply to exist. You were called to carry life to others. And I, the one who never leaves you, will walk with you through every step, every hour, every season, until what I have begun in you is brought to its full completion. My beloved child, Even before you speak, I already understand what is stirring within your heart. Not a single emotion of yours escapes my sight, from the small joys you think are insignificant to the fears you hide and dare not name. I do not merely see, I listen with attentive love. For my love for you is not a distant idea, but a living care that reaches into every detail of your life. As it is written, even the very hairs of your head are all numbered, Luke 12:7. And this means that nothing about you is too small for me to notice, and nothing is too great for me to carry with you. And child, among all that I know about you, what I desire you to grasp most deeply is what I have done for you. I did not come only to teach you with words, but to redeem you through my own sacrifice. While you were still distant, before you even knew me, my love reached out to you first. As it is written, God demonstrates his love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. This was not a temporary act, but an everlasting covenant, a mark that cannot be erased, that you are loved without condition. Understand this, my beloved, when I carried the weight of your sin, I did not only release you from the bondage of your past, but I also opened the way for you to receive a new identity. You are no longer defined by what you have done wrong, nor are you imprisoned by old wounds. As it is written, if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. John 8:36. That freedom is not an abstract idea, it is a reality you are invited to step into each day. Every morning you awaken is not merely a continuation of yesterday, but an opportunity to live in resurrection, to leave behind what is old and step into what is new that I have prepared for you. Child, do not allow the past to tell you that you are still bound. Those chains have already been broken, not by your own strength, but by the power of my love. As it is written, he has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loves. Colossians 1:13. You no longer belong to darkness. You are no longer a prisoner. You are one who has been brought into the light, a light that does not merely shine upon you, but transforms you from within. And in this new journey, you are not left to manage on your own. I did not rescue you only to send you forward alone. I become everything you need in every situation you face. When you feel depleted, I do not merely give you strength, I become your very source of strength. As it is written, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. When your heart is broken, I do not stand at a distance observing. I draw near and mend every fragment with a gentleness beyond compare. As it is written, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. My beloved child, I am also the one who walks with you in the moments that feel most lonely. There are times when you feel that no one understands, that no one stands beside you. Yet I have never left you, not even for a single step. As it is written, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. My presence is not limited to extraordinary moments. It fills even the ordinary when you are silent, when you are thinking, when you do not know what to do next. I am there, quietly, yet surely, like a foundation that can never be shaken. Remember the story of Mary Magdalene as she stood before the empty tomb, her heart overwhelmed with grief and confusion. She believed that all hope had ended, that death had closed every door. Yet in that very moment of deepest darkness, I called her by name, a personal, gentle, and loving call, and instantly, her despair was transformed into resurrection joy. John 20:16. Do you see? I do not merely change circumstances, I touch the heart, call you out of sorrow, and lead you into new life. Therefore, child, let your heart find rest in me. I am your provision when you lack, your strength when you are exhausted, your light when you lose your way. I am hope in the night, peace that is not limited by circumstance, and joy that is not shaken by what surrounds you. I do not change according to your situation. I remain constant through every circumstance, and you are anchored in me. Come near to me not in fear, but in trust. Live each day as one who has been set free, one who belongs to the light, one who is loved without condition. And as you walk in that awareness, you will no longer merely exist. You will begin to truly live in my presence, in a love that never runs dry, and in a peace that nothing can take away. My beloved child, from the deepest place within your heart, the place where you hold unspoken dreams and fears you dare not name, I have been present all along. I do not only see what you reveal outwardly, I understand even the smallest movements within your soul. No joy of yours is too small for me to overlook, and no pain is too hidden for me to reach. As it is written, O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You perceive my thoughts from afar. Psalm 139, 1, 2. And that knowledge is not to judge you, but to embrace you with a love that is gentle and full of compassion. And before you could even find your way to me, I had already reached out to you with a love that is not limited by conditions or by your past, not through empty words, but through a complete sacrifice. I made a way for you to return. As it is written, He himself bore our sins in his body on the tree. 1 Peter 2:24. And this means that every burden you once carried, every mistake, every chain was taken upon myself. You are no longer held captive in the darkness of what has been. You have been called into the light, a light that does not merely shine upon you, but transforms you day by day. Hold this firmly within your heart. Child, you are no longer a prisoner of your past. What once bound you no longer has authority over you. As it is written, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, all things have become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. This newness is not a distant concept, but a living reality you are invited to step into each day, a life renewed, restored, and lifted from the ashes of what once caused you to fall. My beloved, I did not deliver you only to stand outside your life. I step into every circumstance you face and become what you need. When you feel lack, I do not merely provide enough, I am the inexhaustible source. As it is written, my God will supply all your needs. Philippians 4:19. When you are exhausted, I do not simply support you, I become your strength. When your heart is shattered, I do not only comfort you, I mend every fragment with a gentleness beyond compare. And in the moments when you believe you are alone, I am still there, quiet yet unwavering, like a foundation that can never be shaken. Remember the story of Hagar, a woman abandoned in the wilderness, unseen and unprotected. In her moment of deepest despair, when she believed she had been forgotten, I appeared to her and called her by name, giving her hope in the midst of dryness. Genesis 16:13. She called me the God who sees me, because even when no one else saw her, I did. And so it is with you. Child, there is no place you go where my eyes are not upon you. No circumstance you enter where I am not present. Therefore, let your heart be established not on what you feel, but on what I have spoken. Let my word become the anchor of your soul. As it is written, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. Hebrews 6:19. When storms arise, when the voices of fear grow loud, you do not need to run, you only need to hold fast to me. Do not allow the world to convince you that the light within you is fragile. That light does not come from you, and therefore it does not depend on your strength. It comes from me, the one who never changes. You do not need to strive to sustain that light by your own effort. You only need to remain in me, and the light will naturally shine. As it is written, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. My beloved child, rest in this certainty. I will never abandon you, even when you stumble, even when you grow weary, even when you walk through days that feel too heavy to continue. I am still there, not to condemn you, but to lift you up. As it is written, he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1-6. There is nothing I begin in you that I leave unfinished, and no promise I speak that will ever fail. Therefore, child, move forward, not in fear, but in trust. You belong to me, and I belong to you. This bond cannot be broken by time, by failure, or by any power. As it is written, I have loved you with an everlasting love, Jeremiah 31-3. And that love does not merely hold you, it will lead you through the entire journey, until you see that everything I have promised has been fulfilled in your life. My beloved child, even before you can name your emotions, I already understand what is stirring within you. The small joys you quietly treasure as gentle secrets. I cherish the fears you bury in silence. I also touch with a tenderness that does not wound you. I do not see you as the world sees, through success or failure, but through the depth of your soul, where I have placed a value that cannot be replaced. As it is written, the Lord searches the heart and examines the mind, Jeremiah 17:10. Yet my searching is not to condemn, but to heal, to restore, and to draw you closer to my unfading love. Even before you turned back, I had already moved toward you. When you were lost among wrong choices, when you were bound by things you could not escape on your own, I did not stand at a distance observing. I stepped into the very depths of darkness to bring you out. As it is written, he has delivered us from the dominion of darkness and transferred us into the kingdom of his beloved Son, Colossians 1:13. This redemption is not an abstract promise, but an act paid for with my own life, a love that does not stop at any boundary, not even death itself. Child, what I want you to understand is not only that you have been forgiven, but that you have been transformed. You are no longer the one bound by what has been. You no longer have to live under the shadow of sin or shame. As it is written, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. This means that your past no longer has the authority to accuse you, and your present is no longer shaped by old wounds. Each day you live is a step into new life, a continual resurrection, where you are lifted from the ashes of despair into the light of hope. And in that light, you are not left to manage on your own. I become everything you need in every situation you face. When you feel lack, I do not merely provide, I am the source that never runs dry. As it is written, I am the bread of life, John 6:35, meaning that in me, you will never hunger spiritually again. When you are weak, I do not lift you up, only once I remain as strength within you. When your heart is shattered, I do not only comfort you, I patiently restore every fragment, turning the cracks into places where light can shine through. Remember the story of Elijah when he was exhausted beneath the broom tree, longing to give up everything because he felt alone and defeated. In that moment, I did not rebuke him, nor did I demand that he become stronger. I gave him rest, provided him with food, and then gently called him to rise and continue the journey. 1 Kings 19:5-8. Do you see? I do not require perfection in order to walk with you. Even in your weakness, I care for you, sustain you, and lead you forward. Therefore, my beloved, Do not allow fear to draw the boundaries of your life. Do not let the voice of the world dim the light I have placed within you. Let my word become the firm anchor of your soul. As it is written, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul. Firm and secure. Hebrews 6:19. When the storms arise, you do not need to strive in your own strength. You only need to hold fast to the truth that I am still there, unchanging and unshaken. Therefore, child, move forward not in fear, but in trust. You belong to me, and I belong to you. This bond cannot be broken by time, by failure, or by any power. As it is written, I have loved you with an everlasting love, Jeremiah 31:3. And that love does not merely hold you, it will carry you through the entire journey, until you see that everything I have promised has been fulfilled in your life. My beloved child, even before you can name your emotions, I already understand what is stirring within you, the small joys you quietly treasure as tender secrets. I cherish the fears you bury in silence. I touch with a gentleness that does not wound you. I do not see you as the world sees, through success or failure, but through the depth of your soul, where I have placed a value that cannot be replaced. As it is written, the Lord searches the heart and examines the mind, Jeremiah 17:10. Yet my searching is not to condemn, but to heal, to restore, and to draw you closer to my unfading love. Even before you turned back, I had already moved toward you. When you were lost among wrong choices, when you were bound by things you could not escape on your own, I did not stand at a distance observing. I stepped into the deepest darkness to bring you out. As it is written, He has delivered us from the dominion of darkness and transferred us into the kingdom of His beloved Son, Colossians 1:13. This redemption is not an abstract promise, but an act paid for with my own life, a love that does not stop at any boundary, not even death itself. Child, what I want you to realize is not only that you have been forgiven, but that you have been transformed. You are no longer the one bound by what has been. You no longer have to live under the shadow of sin or shame. As it is written, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. This means your past no longer has the authority to accuse you, and your present is no longer shaped by old wounds. Each day you live is a step into new life, a continual resurrection, where you are lifted from the ashes of despair into the light of hope. And in that light, you are not left to manage on your own. I become everything you need in every situation you face. When you feel lack, I do not merely provide, I am the source that never runs dry. As it is written, I am the bread of life, John 6:35. Meaning that, in me, you will never hunger spiritually again. When you are weak, I do not lift you, only once. I remain as strength within you. When your heart is shattered, I do not only comfort you, I patiently restore every fragment, turning the cracks into places where light can shine through. Remember the story of Elijah when he was exhausted beneath the broom tree, longing to give up everything because he felt alone and defeated. In that moment, I did not rebuke him, nor did I demand that he become stronger. I gave him rest, provided nourishment, and then gently called him to rise and continue the journey. 1 Kings 19:5-8. Do you see? I do not require perfection in order to walk with you. Even in your weakness, I care for you, sustain you, and lead you forward. Therefore, my beloved, do not allow fear to draw the boundaries of your life. Do not let the voice of the world dim the light I have placed within you. Let my word become the firm anchor of your soul. As it is written, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. Hebrews 6:19. When the storms arise, You do not need to strive in your own strength. You only need to hold fast to the truth that I am still there, unchanging and unshaken. My child, I have never left you, and I will not begin to do so today. Even when you stumble, even when you face days so heavy that you feel you have no strength to continue, I remain within you not as a distant observer, but as an unfailing sustainer. As it is written, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion." Philippians 1-6. What I have started in you cannot be halted by failure, cannot be undone by time, and cannot be severed by any force. Hold firmly to this as an unshakable truth. You belong to me, and I belong to you. This bond is not built on fleeting emotions, but on an eternal covenant. No power is strong enough to separate you from this love. No distance is far enough to remove you from my presence. As it is written, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Jeremiah 31:3. Therefore, walk in confidence, not because you are always strong, but because I am always faithful. And it is my faithfulness that will carry you through the journey I have appointed for you from the beginning. My beloved, perhaps you have often told yourself that you are not enough, that you are not worthy to be called, to be used, or to step into greater things. But I speak to you an unchanging truth. It is precisely in the places where you feel lacking that I choose to reveal my fullness. Your weakness is not a barrier to me. It is the doorway through which my power is made most visible. As it is written, my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. And this means you do not need to hide your fragility. You only need to place it in my hands. Look again at the story of Gideon, not as a distant memory, but as a mirror set before you. When I called him, he did not stand in the confidence of strength, but hid in fear and a sense of insignificance. Yet I did not call him according to what he saw. I called him according to what I had placed within him. Mighty warrior, Judges 6:12 was not a compliment to his present condition, but a declaration that awakened his destiny. And as he chose to move forward in trust, even while trembling, I used him to overcome an army far greater in number. So it is with you. I do not wait for you to become perfect before I call you. I call you so that I may perfect you along the journey. What I seek in you is not exceptional ability or strength as the world defines it. I look at the heart, a heart that yields, that trusts, and that dares to entrust control to me. When you open yourself in this way, I will pour into you wisdom you cannot produce on your own, strength you cannot sustain by yourself, and a glory that does not originate from man. As it is written, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. That is the key, not to understand everything, but to trust completely. My beloved child, the words I speak over you are not based on your present condition, but on my unchanging nature. I do not give promises because you are strong, but because I am the one who keeps my word. As it is written, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Matthew 24:35. Every word I sow into your heart is like a seed planted in the soil, though you may not see immediate change. Beneath the surface, life is quietly forming. In its appointed time, what I have spoken will sprout, grow, and bear fruit far beyond what you have imagined. Do not allow past failures to convince you that your journey has been interrupted. I am not limited by your past. On the contrary, I often use what seems broken to build something greater. Remember the story of Joseph, sold, betrayed, imprisoned, yet never forgotten. In the years that seemed buried, I was preparing him for a position no one could foresee. And then, from the darkest place, I lifted him into leadership to preserve an entire nation. As it is written, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Genesis 50:20. Do you see? No circumstance is too damaged for me to transform into a foundation for glory. Child, the faith I call you into is not a fleeting emotion that rises and falls with circumstances. Faith is a choice to place your hand in mine and keep walking, even when you cannot see the entire path. As it is written, we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5-7. This means you do not need to understand every detail in order to move forward. You only need to know that I am leading you. Each step you take in that trust will open new horizons, places you never thought you could reach, things you never dared to imagine. And when you look back, you will realize that those small but faithful steps have led you into a journey far greater than you could have planned. Therefore, my beloved, do not wait until you feel ready before you move. Do not let the voice of doubt slow you down. Step forward now in weakness, in imperfection, but in trust. For I do not call you based on your ability, I call you according to my purpose. And as you walk with me, you will discover that what you once thought were limits were only the starting point for what I desire to accomplish through your life. My beloved child, when you look at your weakness and feel unable to go further, understand this: that very place is where I choose to reveal my power most clearly. You do not need to hide your trembling, nor pretend to be stronger than you are. I am not searching for perfection in appearance. I am seeking a heart fully surrendered into my hands. As it is written, my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. So, when you feel small, it is not a signal to retreat, but a sign that I am about to move. Do you know this? I often do not begin with what appears great in human eyes, but with what is hidden, known only between you and me. A prayer no one hears, a surrender no one witnesses, a small step filled with trust. This is where I work. When you choose to trust me in the midst of fear, when you keep walking, though your heart still trembles, you are opening the door to the supernatural. And it is not by your own strength that the door is opened. I am the one who opens doors no one can shut. As it is written, see, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. Revelation 3:8. What you think is impossible, in my hands, becomes the way forward. You will begin to notice something remarkable, even in the midst of storms that seem as though they could swallow you. Your heart can remain at peace, not because your circumstances immediately change, but because I, the one who commands the wind and the sea, am with you. As it is written, he rebuked the wind and said to the sea, peace, be still. Mark 4:39. And that stillness does not only occur outwardly, it settles within you. You will rise each morning with a renewed hope, not because every problem has been resolved, but because you know that I am still holding all things. My beloved child, I want you to look beyond what your eyes can see. No limitation is great enough to prevent me from leading you further. As long as you choose to trust my word, I have overcome death not only once in history, but as an ongoing victory in your life each day. Every time you release bitterness and choose forgiveness, every time you step out of despair to embrace hope, every time you let go of the old to walk in the new, that is resurrection, life at work within you. As it is written, he made us alive with Christ. Ephesians 2:5. You are no longer living as one imprisoned. You are living as one resurrected. Remember the account of Joshua when he stood before the overflowing Jordan River, a barrier that seemed impossible to cross. I did not cause the waters to part before they moved. I waited for them to step in first. And when their feet touched the water, the river stopped and made way. Joshua 3:13-16. Do you see? The miracle does not always come before the step. It often comes within the step of faith itself. You do not need to see the entire path. You only need to walk according to what I have spoken. So today, I invite you once more, not with pressure, but with love. Place your trust in my promises, even when they exceed your understanding. Move forward, even when you cannot see fully, for I see on your behalf. Trust in my presence, even when your emotions cannot clearly perceive it, for my presence does not depend on your feelings. As it is written, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." John 20:29. My beloved, I do not require you to walk the entire path in a single moment. I only ask you to place your hand in mine, a hand willing to yield, a heart willing to trust. That is enough. And as you do, I will lead you farther than you ever thought possible. I will not abandon you along the way. I will not allow you to lose your path. As it is written, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. Psalm 32:8. Then you will begin to realize that your life no longer revolves around your own limitations. You will become a small light in the darkness. As it is written, you are the light of the world. Matthew 5:14. You will become a stream that carries life into dry places. And through you, others will begin to believe that I am still at work. And when you look back on your journey, you will not see your weekdays as meaningless. You will recognize them as the very days I was working most powerfully. You will not look back with regret, but with gratitude, because you chose to believe, to step forward, and to entrust yourself to me, and you will see that everything I began in you has been brought to completion, just as I declared from the beginning. My beloved child, I do not come to you today because you have reached any standard of this world, nor because you have proven your worth through achievements. I come because I see in you something far more precious, a heart not hardened, a soul that, though fragile, still longs for the light, still seeks a truth beyond what the eyes can see. It is that quiet longing that has reached me. And do you know this? In the very moments when you feel weakest and most lost, I am closest to you, not to condemn, but to embrace you, to heal what you cannot heal on your own, and to lift you into a new identity you have never dared to imagine. You are no longer a forgotten name among the crowd, no longer a faint voice lost in the noise of the world. I have called you by name clearly, intentionally, as it is written, I have called you by name, you are mine. Isaiah 43:1. Your identity is no longer covered by old labels or past mistakes. It is lifted as a mark belonging to heaven, a declaration that you are chosen not by human standards, but by my eternal purpose. What you once thought was random, the paths you did not understand, the losses you once resented, all are being woven together into a greater design, where every detail carries meaning within my loving plan. Therefore, child, lift your head. Do not let the voices of your past pull you back to the place I have already brought you out of. Do not allow the judgments of others to cause you to forget what I have spoken over you. As it is written, who will bring any charge against those whom God has chosen? Romans 8:33. No voice carries greater authority than mine. What I have given you cannot be taken away, for it does not come from human hands, but from my unchanging heart. You are loved without condition, called by a new name, and guided by a hand that will never let you go. From this moment forward, I do not want you to see your life through limited reasoning or through the fear that once bound you. I invite you to see by faith a vision that reaches beyond what you see into what I am doing. As it is written, the righteous will live by faith. Hebrews 10:38. You are not alone in this journey. There are movements your eyes cannot perceive, yet they are unfolding. Promises I planted in your heart long ago are beginning to rise, like seeds, meeting their appointed season. Do not hesitate when I prompt you to move forward, for each step you take now is no longer uncertain. It is upon a path woven by my love and my unchanging will. Remember the story of Samuel as a young boy in the temple. In the stillness of night, I called his name not once, but several times until he recognized my voice. 1 Samuel 3:4-10. He was not a figure of great status, nor one of exceptional strength, but he had a heart that listened, and his simple response, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening," opened the way for a journey through which I revealed my will to an entire nation. So it is with you. What I will do is not determined by your perfection, but by your willingness to hear and to respond. This is not merely a passing moment. This is a marker, a point of intersection where heaven touches your heart, where I place my presence within you more clearly than ever before. From here, a new chapter is opening, not a repetition of the old story, but a new journey where you are not only one who experiences, but one who carries light, a voice for those still searching in darkness. Through you, they will come to know that there is one who loves them without condition, the one who hears them in the nights they believe no one listens, just as I have heard you. Therefore, my beloved, walk forward not in your own strength, but in trust, not because you feel that you are enough, but because I am enough for you. As it is written, "The Lord is my fortress," Psalm 18:2. And when you take refuge in me, you have no reason to fear. You are chosen. You are precious in my hands. And I am calling you to live, not merely to exist, but to respond to the sacred calling that has already begun to echo within your heart. Hold this deeply within you. Your name has been inscribed, not upon fading matter, but within my very heart. As it is written, I can see. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands, Isaiah 49:16. No power can erase that mark. And I, the one who began this work in you, will bring it to completion. Step by step, season by season, until you look back and realize that everything I have promised, I have fulfilled. My beloved child, I do not measure you by the standards of the world, nor do I weigh your worth by what you have achieved or failed to achieve. What moved me to call you is your heart, a heart that still feels, still seeks what is true amid the noise of what is false, still longs for something beyond itself. That longing has risen to me like a call, and I have answered. Do you see? In the moments when you feel weakest, I am closest to you, not to expose your lack, but to cover you with gentleness, to heal the places where you have grown weary, and to lift you into the identity I prepared for you long before. Your name is no longer lost in the uncertain flow of life. I have called you clearly. As it is written, I have called you by name. You are mine, Isaiah 43:1. That name is not a passing sound, but a mark of heaven, a declaration that you are chosen according to my eternal purpose, not according to temporary human standards. What you once thought was random, the turns you did not understand, the losses you once resented, all are being woven together into a complete harmony. No detail is wasted. No tear is without meaning. All are forming the song of your life, a song that will rise between heaven and earth as a testimony of my love. Therefore, child, lift your head. Do not let old memories pull you back to where I have already brought you out. Do not let accusations, whether from others or from your own thoughts, cause you to forget what I have spoken over you. As it is written, who will bring any charge against those whom God has chosen? Romans 8:33. No voice stands above mine. What I have given you cannot be taken away, for it does not come from human hands. It comes from the depths of my heart, a source no one can reach or alter. You are loved without condition, called by a new name, and guided by a hand that has never let you go. From this moment forward, I want you to see your life through a different lens, not through limited reasoning, nor through the filter of fear, but through faith, a vision that goes beyond what you see to recognize what I am doing. As it is written, we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. You are not alone in this journey. There are unseen movements unfolding, doors being prepared to open, promises I planted in your heart long ago beginning to rise. And as you step forward, you will realize that every step you take lies within a path carefully woven by my love and my unchanging will. Remember the story of David when he was still a young shepherd in the wilderness. No one saw him, and no one imagined he would become king. Yet I saw him, and I chose him. When he stood before Goliath, a giant feared by all, he did not rely on his own strength, but on me. And in that trust, the impossible became reality. 1 Samuel 17. So it is with you. Child, it is not what you see that determines the outcome, but the one in whom you place your trust. My beloved, this is not merely a passing moment. This is a marker, a sacred intersection, where heaven touches your life with clarity. From here, a new chapter is opening, not a repetition of what has been, but a new journey where you do not live for yourself alone, but become a light for others. Through you, they will come to recognize that there is one who loves them without condition, one who listens to them in the night, one who never abandons, just as I have never abandoned you. Therefore, step forward, the child, not by striving, but by trusting, not because you are strong enough, but because I am your stronghold. As it is written, God is our refuge and strength. Psalm 46:1. You are chosen. You are precious in my hands. And I am calling you to live, not merely to exist, but to live as a response to the sacred call echoing within your heart. Hold this deeply within you. Your name has been engraved, not upon fading matter, but within my own heart. As it is written, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Isaiah 49:16. No power can erase that mark. And I, the one who began the work in you, will bring it to completion. Step by step, season by season, until all that I have promised is fully revealed in your life. My beloved child, there are moments in your journey that seem like ordinary days passing by. Yet, from my perspective, they are intersections between what you see and what you have never seen. They are the places where what I ordained before you were formed begins to rise into your present reality. You are not merely existing day by day as an isolated life. You carry within you a sacred current, a legacy of faith, of quiet prayers, of faithfulness unseen by the world, but deeply recorded in eternity. As it is written, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. Which means your journey is not accidental, but the unfolding of a plan written long ago. And child, there is a reality you may not yet fully grasp. Those who have gone before you in faith are not lost in memory, but stand in a fuller light of understanding. They are no longer bound by time or the limitations of the flesh, but see you through the lens of eternal purpose. They see you not only as you are now, but as you are in the fulfillment I have ordained. As it is written, we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, Hebrews 12:1. And this is not to place pressure upon you, but to remind you that your journey is upheld by a witness filled with hope and love. When you look at your life, you may see scattered fragments, failures, regret, broken paths. But from where I dwell, in the light that never fades, I do not see disorder, I see a work in progress. Every thread of your life, bright or dark, is being woven into a greater tapestry. As it is written, all things work together for good for those who love God. Romans 8:28. What you call mistakes, I can use to reveal grace. What you call loss, I can transform into the foundation of restoration. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Remember the story of Ruth, a foreign woman, marked by loss, with no status and no clear future, as she chose to walk with Naomi in faithfulness. She did not know that each small step was leading her into a place within my greater redemptive plan. From a life that seemed ordinary and wounded, I brought her into the lineage of the Savior. Ruth 4:13-17. Do you see? You do not need to understand the entire picture in order to walk rightly within it. You only need to remain faithful in each step I place before you. My beloved child, the wounds you carry are not overlooked by me. I see every pain you have hidden, every memory that tightens your heart. Yet I do not see you as someone forever broken. I see you as one being restored day by day. As it is written, He heals the brokenhearted, Psalm 147:3. And not only do I heal, I transform those wounds into places where my power and compassion are revealed, so that through you, others may also find hope. The storms you have passed through are not signs that you were abandoned. On the contrary, they are evidence that you were sustained through what could have broken many others. The strength you carry does not come from yourself, but from me, the one who dwells within you, and I take delight in seeing you continue forward, even when you do not fully understand. For I know what you cannot yet see. This journey is not finished. As it is written, He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1:6. And regarding those who have gone before you, understand this rightly, they are not the source of your strength, but they stand as part of the testimony that the journey of faith continues. They have completed their part, and now they stand as witnesses to my faithfulness. They do not lead you, nor do they determine your path. I alone do that. Yet their place within my kingdom is a declaration that what I begin in one generation, I continue in the next. Therefore, child, run your race undistracted by what lies behind, unbound by what you do not yet understand. Move forward with steadiness, knowing that you are part of a story far greater than yourself. As it is written, let us throw off everything that hinders and run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Hebrews 12:1. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not walking in meaninglessness. Every step you take is contributing to the completion of a work I began long ago. And when you look back, you will not see scattered fragments, but a finished picture, a masterpiece reflecting my love, my grace, and my faithfulness in your life. My beloved, I do not only see you in your present where you are striving, weary, and fighting to stand, but I see you in the fulfillment I have ordained. I see you in the light of promises made real, no longer bound by what once held you back. I see you healed not temporarily, but deeply from within. I see you standing firm as one who has passed through the night and is now receiving the morning. As it is written, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 30:5. And you are moving toward that morning, even if you do not yet fully see it. I also see you in a role you have not yet imagined, one who lifts others through the very compassion you have received. The wounds you once carried, the things you wished to hide, I am transforming into a living testimony. Not so you will relive the pain, but so that through you, others will recognize that my love can restore anyone. As it is written, He comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble. 2 Corinthians 1:4. You are not only healed for yourself, you are healed to become a source of healing. Child, the moment you are standing in is not random. It is a turning point, a time I have appointed, where your faith will no longer remain theory, but will become living reality. I do not promise that you will never face pain, but I declare with certainty that you will never walk through it alone. I do not say you will never fall, but I affirm that every time you do, I am there to lift you up. As it is written, though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Proverbs 24:16. My support never runs dry. Understand this deeply. My beloved, every small choice you make in faith carries value far beyond what you see. When you choose to love while your heart still aches, when you choose to trust in the midst of doubt, when you keep moving forward without certainty, these are not small things. They are movements of heaven. As it is written, we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5-7. And each step like this is bringing you closer to what I have prepared. And your quiet prayers, the ones you whisper in the night when no one else hears, do not vanish into emptiness. I hear every word, I receive every sigh. As it is written, may my prayer be set before you like incense. Psalm 141-2. To me, they are not faint sounds. They are a precious fragrance rising before my throne, a sign of a heart that still trusts even when it does not yet see. And child, concerning those you have loved who have gone before you, hold this understanding with steadiness. They are not the ones who lead you. Yet their presence in my kingdom stands as a testimony that the journey of faith does not end in death. As it is written, we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses. Hebrews 12:1. This does not place a burden upon you, but encourages you to know that you are walking within a story greater than yourself, a story woven across generations, all centered on my faithfulness. Remember the story of Bartimaeus, the blind man sitting by the roadside, silenced by others, yet unwilling to stop calling out. When he raised his voice, though it seemed small amid the crowd, I stopped and answered him. Mark 10:40, 6:52. Do you see? It was not the volume of his cry that brought the miracle, but the persistence of a heart turned toward me. So it is with you, though your prayers may seem small in your own eyes. They are enough for me to pause and act. Therefore, my beloved, let your heart be awakened. You are not walking alone. I am with you. I lead you, and everything moving around you rests within my hands. Do not remain in the shadows of doubt. Step into the light of revelation, recognizing that you are not merely passing through days, but participating in what I am doing upon the earth. Stand firm and lift your head. As it is written, arise, shine, for your light has come. Isaiah 60:1. That light is not something distant in the future, it is drawing near, touching your life day by day. And what you are living through now, even if you do not yet fully understand it, will become an eternal testimony that my love is real, and that those who trust in me will never be put to shame. I have heard your name spoken, and I have not remained silent. I am acting step by step, detail by detail, to fulfill what I have appointed for you. And I will not stop until what I have begun in you is brought to completion in my glory and my love. My beloved child, from the light of eternity, I see you not only as you stand within these days of trial, but as you exist across the full journey I have written. I see every step you take, steps that tremble yet do not stop, moments when you fall yet do not remain in the dust. And what I see is not your weakness, but the perseverance being formed within that weakness. As it is written, though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Proverbs 24:16. And each time you rise, heaven does not look upon you with pity, but with deep joy, because you are moving in the right direction. My child, there are things you think no one sees, the prayers you whisper when the night has grown deep, the tears that fall with no one to wipe them away, the decisions you make in silence when no one is watching. But I see them all. Nothing about you is hidden from me. As it is written, you keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle, Psalm 56:8. What you consider small, I call precious. What you think is weakness, I see as strength being formed. The seeds you have sown, acts of love when you yourself needed love. Moments of forgiveness while your heart was still hurting. Steps taken when the path was unclear are all being planted in the soil of faith. You may not yet see change on the surface, but beneath it, life is already stirring. As it is written, those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy, Psalm 126:6. The harvest is not canceled simply because you cannot yet see it. It is coming, and it will come at the appointed time I have set. Remember the story of Hannah, a woman who prayed in silence, misunderstood and overlooked, yet never ceased seeking me. She poured out her soul before me in deep anguish, and I heard her. From those tears, I gave her a son, and that son became a prophet for a nation, 1 Samuel 1:10-20. Do you see? Quiet prayers are never wasted. They are seeds for things far greater than what you can presently see. My beloved, I know there are times when you feel as though you are walking a path with no way out, a place where everything seems dark and unending. Yet even there, I am with you, not standing at a distance, but walking each step with you. As it is written, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, Psalm 23:4. You are not alone, even if your emotions tell you otherwise. I have seen you hold on to hope when there was nothing left to hold. I have seen you believe without evidence. I have seen you love without receiving in return. And these things move heaven, for they reveal a soul that is not broken, but being renewed. As it is written, those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, Isaiah 40:31. Your strength does not come from circumstance, but from your connection with me, child. Your journey is not finished. What you are living through is not the end. It is preparation for what I am about to do. I am refining you not to destroy you, but to purify you, like gold tested in fire. As it is written, when he has tested me, I will come forth as gold, Job 23:10. What you are experiencing is not the end of hope, but the formation of glory. Therefore, keep walking, even if your steps are small, even if they are slow. Do not stop. What you sow today will become what you reap tomorrow. And when that day comes, you will look back and understand that not a single tear was wasted. Not a single prayer was forgotten. Not a single step was in vain. I am here. I have always been here, and I will remain. Until you everything I have begun in you is brought to completion in my light. My beloved child, I do not require you to hide anything when you come to me. You do not need to construct a strong image to be accepted, nor pretend that everything is fine when your heart is unsettled. I do not love you because you are perfect. I love you even in your weakness, in your stumbles, in your unresolved struggles. My love is not built upon your achievements or your correctness. As it is written, God is love, Anna John Stieri, Awesome. And because I am love, I do not measure you by what you accomplish, but by your very being in me. No matter how many wounds you carry, no matter how many times you have fallen, I still call you by an unchanging name, my beloved child. There are moments when you stand in the midst of a crowd and still feel alone, as though no one truly understands you. Yet, even in that moment, I am there, not distant, not faint, but close enough for you to reach if you open your heart. When you cry out in silence, when your pain cannot be put into words. I still hear every sigh. As it is written, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted," Psalm 34:18. You are not forgotten in this vast world. You are not without meaning. I have spoken of you from the beginning. You are a work of my hands, crafted with care, a life being shaped day by day in my unfailing love. My beloved child, I know there are days when you do not feel my presence. You may think I have gone, that I am silent, that I am no longer there. But you must understand this: your feelings are not the measure of truth. Truth does not change with emotion. As I have said, I will never leave you nor forsake you, Hebrews 13:5. In the very moments when you believe I am farthest, I am often carrying you, holding you steady when you no longer have strength to stand. Have you ever wondered why you are still here? Even when there were times you thought you would completely collapse, why? In the darkest days, you still held onto even the smallest thread of hope. That is not by chance. It is because I am the one quietly sustaining you each day, renewing your strength when you thought you had none left. As it is written, those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength, Isaiah 40:31. I am the source you may not see, yet you feel through your ability to keep going. Therefore, child, do not condemn yourself for your moments of weakness, for the days of doubt, or for the times you feel like giving up. These things do not drive me away. On the contrary, they open a door for me to come closer to wipe away your tears, to touch the places that are broken, to remind you that you are not alone. As it is written, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you, 1 Peter 5-7. Remember the story of Thomas the Apostle, the one who doubted because he could not believe what he had not seen. When he needed proof, I did not reject him, nor did I rebuke him for his weakness. I came near and invited him to touch my wounds, so that he would know that I am real, and that my love is real. John 20:27. Do you see? I do not push you away when you doubt. I come closer so that you may know me more clearly. My beloved, I know you not only your name, but the story behind it. I know the things you have never spoken, the struggles you keep hidden, the dreams you have not yet dared to pursue. As it is written, even the very hairs of your head are all numbered, Luke 12:7. My knowledge of you is not distant observation, but deep understanding from within. And because I know, I understand. Because I understand, I love. And because I love, I choose to remain not only in your strong days, but in every day of your life. There is not a moment when I leave you. There is not a second you walk without me, beside you. So come to me as you truly are. There is no need to hide, no need to strive. Let me be the place where you find rest, where you are healed, where you are made new. And within that presence, you will begin to realize something profound. You are not only loved, you have always been loved. From the beginning and forever. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this, you are not merely an audience. You are chosen to live daily in the presence of the Word of God. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you will not miss any spiritual message. Amen.